Good evening, everyone. This is day 959. 959 days since Richard vanished from the barracks there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. It's been a busy day. Of course, we had last couple days a breakthrough because we received the case numbers, the file numbers for the CID report, the FBI report by Leilani Hart to the CID, to the FBI. And so we have an inquiry. Do they include child sex trafficking? Do they include child sex porn production? My gosh, my phone's going crazy. Um, Child sex porn, does it include that? And no matter what it includes, this shows a breach. I mean, it does matter what it shows. And I already know what it has in there because I was told what was in there by the person that it was reported against. And so not everything, but a good idea. And we have that in our records. And so this shows a motive in the case of our son. There's so many things wrong with this. And you have to remember that this is all between, Leilani Hart was active duty at the time. Tavita Nusa was, of course, a special agent, CID, active duty. And First Lieutenant Hart, her son, under 32nd ADCOM, under Major General Clem Coward, all at the same time with Richard. And so this shows without a doubt that there was a leak because like I said late last night, early this morning, we have put in CID complaints. We have put in FBI, right? We have put in inquiries, everything. We have a file. We have never received a number, right? We have never received a number for CID or the FBI. No one really does, ever, unless you have an insider that doesn't feel threatened at all, doesn't feel that their job is at risk at all, feels at liberty to leak. That means it is an office of corruption, and leaks. So I never doubted that there were leaks. And I have been very vocal about that because of Hemisochil. I knew that she was getting leaks. I asked the task force Find Richard Halliday staged meeting when everybody was there. It was just about 30 people were there or more, from very DEA and FBI and Customs Border Protectors and the El Paso Police and Interpol and oh my gosh, uh, Homeland Security, and they were all there, okay? But there was no op board. There was no task force leader appointed. The U.S. Army was not in uniform. They did this legally out of uniform to make it unofficial. No op board. Nothing happens in the Army without an op board, okay? And so this was a staged meeting. It was absolutely criminal. It was absolutely using military operations against us. It was absolutely using asymmetric warfare tactics against us, whatever you want to call it. It was criminal, absolutely criminal, the psychology of it. And at the time, Major General, now Lieutenant General, she got a star for this. Um, Donna Martin headed it with Major General Sean Bernabe. He got a star for this. He's now a Lieutenant General. Woo! They got their stars. But I think the stars are like millstones around their neck, and they put it there themselves and throw themselves in the abyss, because look at what's going on. Look at what's going on. We have Lieutenant General Donna Martin contacting us the day before January 6, 2021 to tell us not to go. January 5th, don't go, don't go. They knew. They knew what was going on. They knew something was going to go on. They knew what was going to go on. Let's not be foolish. Let's not be naive. Okay? And Major General Sean Bernabe, he's just played his pivotal role in sabotaging the search for Richard Halliday. And anyway, God is good. God is good. Vengeance is His. I wouldn't say I'm at peace, but I am assured that all of this is coming out, because you see the J6 is all coming out. I mean, who can argue with what has happened this week, that we have leadership that's just up to no good, right? And then when it comes to the COVID, who can argue when you find out that the Department of Defense, the 44 four-star generals that lockstepped all their flag officers, that includes all other generals, to commit crimes against humanity using the funds of the people of the United States, using our children's future, okay, because we're in huge debt. Don't fuss too much about it. Don't fuss too much about it, because, yeah. Anyway, never let things scare you. You've got to have courage, because things are not what they seem. And just like that task force, Find Richard Halliday, it was not what it seemed to me. They actually could have hoodwinked me, but thank God I had my husband there. Thank God I have friends with a lot of knowledge. And so think about Enrique Roman Martinez's mother. Think about Austin Hawke's mother. Think about Caleb Smithers' mother. Think about, well, Vanessa Guillen's family has some big help. So praise God on that one. But it's not over. It's not over. And many, many others. And I want to say Asia Graham's mother. Think about her. Think about those families, those parents that get twisted and turned and don't get justice for their children. Get played. They get played, and they know they're getting played, but we have no recourse, right? So we get online if we are able, if we have that kind of ability, because it takes a lot to learn how to get online and take the vile and vulgar harassment. And I'm saying in this case, it was extreme, continuously extreme. And so we know that our leadership is up to no good. We saw it with, I like to pick on Mitt Romney, because Mitt Romney has stakes all in the area, that New Mexico, that El Paso area, all the way down to Colonial Juarez, where his family is from, right? That's where his dad was born. And it is plush, it is lush, it is, and they're talking about cartel, right? They're talking about cartel and sending the military over the border to fight cartel. Why? Hmm. You know, and and Lindsey Graham, who is the biggest one to, oh, we've got to go to war, we've got to go to, he loves to send other people to war when he sits in his cozy little living room, um, and watches it from TV, right? So he he's he's such a chicken hawk. Isn't that what they call him? They call him chicken hawks. Um, I don't know. I think that's what I heard. But yeah, here we are his constituents. We're Lindsey Graham's constituents, and you would think that this right here, I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I should put this light down a little bit. I don't know. But what it says is that is the FBI is the FBI hiding the remains of our son that they found in Juarez, Mexico? So says the father-in-law of Lieutenant Colonel Bugado in the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM right there. That's Richard's command. That's Leilani Hart's command. That is First Lieutenant Hart's command, Dallas Hart's command. Wow. Wow. When you're established in El Paso, you have friends everywhere. It seems like in the CID. It is so heart-wrenching to know that you are looking for your missing soldier son, and the people that are supposed to be your allies betray you and are really serving foreign and domestic enemies and spiritual enemies spiritual demons. Yeah, serving demons. So I want to talk about Fort Bliss a little bit. And I know I've been talking a lot about it. And the American people need to understand that during World War II, we had 13 million service members and only 7 four-star generals. Okay? We have a tenth of that right now. 1/10. 1.3, if that, million service members with 44 four-star generals and admirals. Okay, when I say generals, I mean general billets, because some of those are admirals. And what are they doing? They are just the most evil criminal, just so evil and criminal that even a defector points it out, how screwed up our Fort Bliss is. Okay? Our army is. It is so embarrassing to hear these stories. And if you don't know what I'm talking about a soldier, a veteran, a U.S. Army veteran from Fort Bliss, from 1st Cav, named John David McIntyre. And he decided to go over to Ukraine and fight for Ukraine, and become a Nazi. Become a Nazi, because he calls them all Nazis. They're all Nazis. Interesting. That's so interesting to me, being German heritage, right? And all the things that our family heard and went through. And, my mother was just 2 weeks old when she lost her German father, who was sent by Hitler at the end of the war. Everybody had to go and fight. It didn't matter, even young boys. And they threw them up to that Russian front. and my grandfather was shot in the stomach. We do have a paper even with a swastika on it. Believe it or not, I mean, not that he was a Nazi, but the Nazis were in charge, um, with a swastika on it to say that he was shot in the stomach and he was dumped in a mass grave, in Lapland, in Russia. And my dad, um, was a all-purpose repairman, um, logistics man there at the embassy in Moscow. I think they were there 9 years. My mom worked in the adoption office there and in the American embassy, and went all over. My dad ended up uh, going to all these different places during the, they were doing this treaty where they were disarming their missiles and all this stuff like that, checking these silos out and these sites and everything like that. So he went all over that area, and my mom and dad did get a chance when the area opened up where my grandfather was dumped in this mass grave, and my mom did get to go visit it. Um, but this is what we thought the quote unquote the greatest generation fought against, and here we are sending billions of dollars supporting it, by the opinion of this John David McIntyre from Fort Bliss, veteran, first Cav. First Cav. That was Sean Bernabe, right? Sean Bernabe. But I think he was, Sean Bernabe came after this soldier had already been trained there at Fort Bliss, and just prepared as an American with esprit de corps, not. Medal of Honor ethos, not. Defending the Constitution, not. Army strong, not. Be all you can be, not. And what are they saying? What are the excuses? He was there for only 2 years. 2 years is a long time, y'all. When you do not have a democracy in the military and you lock kills, look at what they did in 2020 and 2021. They did a lot. They taught our soldiers a lot. That if you didn't get a Cobra strike, you were going to be continuously and severely retaliated against. That's what they told. That's what they taught them. And if you don't like child porn and child sex trafficking, you just better shut up. That seems to be the mantra too, in my opinion. I don't know for sure. We're getting to the bottom of it, because that's what Richard's case is all about. Child sex trafficking and child pornography, the production of it, the sale of it, the broadcasting of it. Very, very lucrative. Who was all involved? And anyway, lots of information coming out. And so we did have this breakthrough with the CID and the FBI numbers proving they were leaked. That's the biggest part of those numbers. You see, we already have victory in that without, because, they're not going to, well, maybe they will. I don't know. I don't know. I doubt. We still don't have our Child Protective Service complaint that Richard put in. So we don't have the other FOIAs that my husband put in, because the IG were all over the barracks because of Halliday. So, and of course, if Richard went over and above and outside the chain of command because he couldn't trust the chain of command, or the chain of command blew him off because, well, why? Why would they blow him off when it comes to child pornography, child abuse, child sex trafficking? Why would they blow him off, right? But I want you to listen to this defector. He has now defected from Ukraine and into Russia. And there's he says, because he's a communist. um I I have been listening to the Body Language Ghost. Her name's Mandy for many years. She is really, really amazing. And so I'm going to play a piece of her video. Now you can go to it and play it for yourself. You can play her other videos. There, she's really magnificent. She knows how to read body language, and yeah, she really doesn't take a lot of um, extra jobs, But she's a mother, and I've got to respect that, because I would love to have her read some body language in the case of Richard. But anyway, but she did choose to do this defector. His name, John David McIntyre, from Fort Bliss, Texas, trained there. Well, he's a Texan, but he was trained at Fort Bliss, right? And see what he says about Fort Bliss, his time at Fort Bliss. Very interesting. And his time at Fort Bliss, I believe, was pre-COVID. Things got much worse during COVID. So people think that we've hit the abyss, the darkness. No, y'all. No. Mm-mm. And no, we haven't. It's I was talking to someone today that is been very extremely helpful in this case about my I took some time out to do some watercolor painting today for my Sunday school class as an example of what they're doing. And it's about Pilgrim's Progress. And, I just took several different pictures, images of the story, and they picked one, and they had to draw it on some watercolor paper, good paper, always use good paper, and they had to do it upside down, draw it upside down, and now they're going to watercolor it, and that's their and we were talking about that, and I said, he goes, which one are you doing? And I said, the Wicket Gate. And the Wicket with the T, Wicket Gate. And I said, it's very interesting, because when Christian, with his burden, he makes it to the Wicket Gate with the arrows coming at him, I mean, he's running to this Wicket Gate, and he's like, let me in, and he goes, oh, I made it in, and the arrows are coming at, hitting the door behind him, and he, just by the hair of his chinny chin chin, he's in the Wicket Gate, and he feels like he's there. He has escaped the trials of life, of the path. And what he finds out very quickly in the next line is, now the trials will begin. Now the trials will begin. And he's like, when will I lose my burden? When will I lose my burden? Because yeah. And when he does lose his burden, what does he receive? Armor. Armor and a weapon and a shield. A sword and a shield and armor. That's what he receives when he loses his burden. And I said, this whole Sunday school class was really a gift from God, because I didn't pick it out. I just after my father has passed away, and being able to go to church again and being able to help out, I wanted to volunteer with the Sunday school class, and God just put that in front of us and in front of me and said, okay, teach this book to these young people. And it's been such a blessing for me. Such a blessing. So when you volunteer, because this country is built on volunteerism, it's the only country in the world that has that unique beginning of volunteerism. It's part of our culture. And it has, I'm old enough to remember, because things have changed so quickly. But, we still had candy stripers, and I know here we still have volunteers in the hospital, and they're mostly older people. I remember when there were a lot of young people, but we volunteered all the time. And so it's this country is really unique on that, because living in Germany, living in Ireland, you don't have that kind of volunteerism in the culture. And so volunteer for something. You will be blessed. You say, how can I do some good for you? Right? That's Richard's always like, how can you glorify God today? And how can you help someone? Can I be a blessing to you? Can I help you? What can I do to help you? And all of a sudden, the blessings come back in ways that you are just astonished. And it really does help get you through the path, the path of life. And this Pilgrim's Progress has really helped remind me of that. When you get to the wicket gate, you still have a very rough time. Your fight just begins, and you have to go through the city of Vanity Fair. Vanity Fair, you can never go around Vanity Fair. You have to go through Vanity Fair. And if you don't participate, watch out. They want to stone you. You have to participate in the evils, the child pornography, the buying and the selling, the drugs, and the mischief, all the mischief, and the games, and the lies of the games. And if you don't participate, they get very angry, very angry. And so I'm not participating with the lies of the echoes of lies from these 44 four-star generals and many flag officers. And so I'm not going to participate with child pornography, the production of it, the distribution of it, and the broadcasting of it. I'm not participating with child abuse. I'm not participating with child sex trafficking, and all of this, making the barracks a marketplace for illegal drugs. I'm not. And this is what he talks about. So let's go back to this defector and let's see what he has to say. See if I can play this properly. It's on YouTube. There. I have it marked at the spot. This is from Body Language, but she took it from RT, Russian television. I think that's what that stands for. Ukrainian troops cut Russian soldiers' genitalia and heads off, slit throats. Fun. Wow. I wonder if that's propaganda. Is that true? I don't know. But let's hear what he has to say about his time at Fort Bliss.
John came prepared. For years, he served in the U.S. military. First Armored Division. It was hot out there. It was at Fort Bliss, Texas.
How long were you in the military for?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Good
2 years and a
or-
month. Huh?
Good years or
No, not really. Not really. A lot of drinking, you know.
in the army?
Oh yeah, of course. Normal, standard
They
practice, of
take
course.
Really?
underage
Yeah, yeah, of
drinking
course.
seriously.
On base?
Yeah. Cocaine, everything. Weed, anything you want, you know. Prostitutes, hookers, you know, everything.
On base?
Yeah, they arrested one guy. He was a cavalry scout, and he, in his barracks room, he had like bricks of cocaine. You know, he was like
A dealer.
yeah, he was like the distributor for the whole base.
But all that training in Texas, it didn't prepare him for this.
Okay, I'm going to interject on this one because I can already hear it. Oh my God, that doesn't happen. Okay, yes, it does.
Let's listen to
And
her.
if you're honest with yourselves, every one of you will remember the articles that came out of the gang problem that they had. And if you're honest with yourselves, you remember that there are a couple of bases with an extremely high murder rate that they think a serial killer lives there. So let's not fool ourselves.
Let's not fool ourselves. One more time.
John came prepared. For years, he served in the U.S. military.
First Armored Division. It was hot out there. It was at Fort Bliss, Texas.
How long were you in the military for?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Good
2 years
years
and a
or-
month. Huh?
Good years or
No, not really. Not really. A lot of drinking, you know.
in the army?
Oh yeah, of course. Normal, standard practice, of course.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
On base?
Yeah. Cocaine, everything. Weed, anything you want, you know. Prostitutes, hookers, you know, everything.
On base?
Yeah, they arrested one guy. He was a cavalry scout, and he, in his barracks room, he had like bricks of cocaine. You know, he was like
A dealer.
yeah, he was like the distributor for the whole base.
But all that training in Texas, it didn't prepare him for this.
Okay, so let's go to I want to go to this from yesterday. I think it's really important. Let's see. There's so much, y'all. Oh, here it is. Okay.
I went to Fort Bliss, the Emergency Intake Center. You guys heard of this? Fort Bliss. To handle all the unaccompanied minors coming to this country. And as I was there, the admiral's running it, and I'm like, sir, why don't we send these kids, these are unaccompanied minors now, back to their home country, back to their town. And the admiral said, well, they don't know where they came from. So these kids are from, I saw one, I know he's probably no more than 5. And I saw some probably, the average was 16, 17-year-olds. So they're saying these kids, these unaccompanied minors, do not know where they came from. I said, well, where are we going to send them to? Oh, we're going to send them to a Google address in the United States of America. Then we don't background check the people we're sending them to. So one of my friends here, I remember earlier hit on this. We are actually, with taxpayer dollars, are now trafficking children, and we're paying to get them there on American taxpayer dollars and put them in God knows what and God knows where. And so the thing that really, I think Andy Biggs has mentioned this, Rep Biggs, is, y'all, we've lost 20,000 children.
20,000 children.
Mayorkas said himself in a hearing he does not know where 20,000 of these children are.
Okay, so, and why do I play this? Why am I interested in this? Because I wanted to know what kind of environment Richard found himself in. Because if I could just understand the environment that Richard found himself in, because Richard's not like, oh, Mom, help me. That's not Richard. That's why the last video was so upsetting, because they broke him. He was afraid for his life. He was getting threats. He was afraid, and that's my opinion. But he was afraid for his life because he went and bought a pistol 5 days before he went missing. And he was telling me that he wouldn't leave his room because he would get in trouble. And I was like, really? And I thought it was COVID. I thought it was because of COVID, and I was just like, oh, God, these are insane people. But I thought it would pass. You know, I thought it would pass. And, but they had more intended for us. You see, we thought we were at the bottom of the barrel, and we weren't. We were at the wicket gate, and once you get through the wicket gate, you've got another path to tread, right? You've got another battle in front of you, lots of battles in front of you. And you haven't even made it to Vanity Fair yet. And this is what is going on at Fort Bliss is Vanity Fair. It is cocaine. It is I remember talking to Belen, and she rattled off drugs so quick, and I was like, I still can't even rattle them off like she did. It was like she was a salesperson for them, you know? And I was like, wow, this is her life. It made me cry. This is her life. This is what she knows. Is illegal drugs, is sex cults. I don't even want to say sex. It's sex cults. It's sex cults. And the sex cults are very dangerous because they will lead into the orgies. They will lead into the dog mask. They will lead into the whole M&S stuff. They will lead into actual pain. They will lead into the child sex trafficking. They will lead into the child porn. And don't fool yourself. That is child rape. Child rape. And it will lead into bestiality. You know, don't fool yourself. Right? Don't fool yourself. You've got all kinds of drugs and all kinds of madness, all kinds of alcohol, frat party every day. And here, just in the news, this month, March 2023, we absolutely hear it again. The environment, the Vanity Fair, that is Fort Bliss. And American taxpayers, they think that this is a disciplined installation. I was walking around my neighborhood praising God that Richard had a job in the military, even if he had to shelter in place. I was praising God that he had a job because things went really wrong for some in our family. We were hustling like a lot of other people. And a lot of other people were destroyed, and a lot of other people made billions. The absolute crime, the crimes against humanity, the absolute crimes, because people wanted to make money in their Vanity Fair. And if you didn't participate, or if you were not the survival of the fittest, then that's tough luck. That's your problem. Shut up! If you don't like child rape, Shut up if you don't like our soldiers getting raped. Shut up if you don't like cocaine. And I was glad to hear that they did arrest this guy with bricks of cocaine in his barracks room. Now, wait a minute, y'all. You have to understand this. How bold do you have to be to have bricks of cocaine in your barracks room? There has to be a lot of green flags for you to feel so confident that you can bring bricks of cocaine and be the post distributor. Something happened. Was it a turf war or whatever? Because if he's not hiding his illegal drugs, he feels emboldened to be the post drug dealer, the person to go to. And this, I was so insulted over and over again by these nasty flag officers. And I just have to say, cold-blooded, that just insult you and say Richard deserved the permanent GOMAR and being put out the army because underage drinking is taken seriously in the United States Army. Yeah, it's taken seriously. Seriously green flagged. Seriously allowed. Don't be insulting. With one counseling slip that he got that was absolutely non-punitive because it was 0.04 BAC. Oh, that's punitive. That's punitive. We can destroy him. Did you know they told us that if he wanted to fight that with a court-martial, that he could get 6 years in the brink, 6 years in prison? I looked at that SJA and I went, you guys told my son that? You're insulting me? Because I could walk out this door and go all over post because I'm an ID card holder. And I can talk to all kinds of people. And they have frat parties every day. And it's young people involved. And now we have the hookers and the whores. I don't know what the difference is with hookers and whores, but that's what he said. Hookers and whores. And Richard was like, I'd rather burn my money than spend it on whores and blow. Just exactly what John David McIntyre just got finished saying. But that's not enough. That's not what this was about. This was about, let me stick it wherever I can, especially maybe in a child. This is what this was about. This is about child rape. And people go, oh, well, porn, that's legal. That's consensual. That whose bright idea was to make porn legal? Huh? Because anybody, any psychologist, any criminal investigator, anybody that has their head screwed on right knows that all porn leads to child sex trafficking and worse. Because you understand, it messes with your heart. It messes with your heart. It messes with your soul. It messes with your head. It is such a psyop, a psychological weapon. And this is not me new saying this. This is me saying it to Richard when he was little. Porn is a weapon. It's a weapon, and they used it during World War II. They use it every chance they can. And that's why I am so appalled, absolutely appalled, by the lack of outrage for this colonel that was leading our service members, leading our volunteer sons and daughters, that was also leading a doggy porn cult on our installations, showing his erection in our uniform, on our installation, in our buildings. And this is a big group, y'all. This is big. This is not just a colonel. They get these special doggy masks made. So this is all about sticking it in wherever you can, especially a child, maybe a drugged out or a drunk soldier. Let's stick it to them. Let's rear them. This is what this is about. And this is our military with 44 four-star generals. 44. And I am just so insulted that they would use our taxpayers' money and speak all of this virtue, like honor and integrity and be all you can be, and, army of one and all this stuff, and be so degenerate. And mess with the hearts, the souls, the minds of our young volunteer sons and daughters that want to go in and be mentored and learn something like patriotism, to defend the Constitution, learn a trade, learn while they serve, and earn while they serve. Not be extorted, not be taught how to get into debt, not be sold drugs, illegal drugs, not be put in mental health institutions where that hurts their future job opportunities. I am so insulted. The betrayal is so worthy of really looking at the death penalty seriously. And I'm a Ron Paul person. I was like, we have such crazy leadership, we can never put the death penalty on the table because these crazy people would start genocide. But I'm telling you, they do it anyway. They're killing the souls, the minds, the hearts of this country, and using our money to do it. Grooming them into sex cults, grooming them into violence, grooming them into filthiness, grooming them into failure, into mental health issues, into suicide. And now with human trafficking, child sex trafficking, child porn, not only do they want to stick it to our children, they want to film it and then make money off of it and then broadcast it and airdrop it down to our children. They are so despicable. And then when we call them out one time, we get filthy, vile, and vulgar messages, harassment. We get flipped off. We get flicked off. We get ignored. We get lied to. We get put into danger. They plot. They plot against us. They smear my son. This is like groundless. He's a yellow Interpol. Where is our character? Where is our virtue that they talk so much about? And then all I hear is broken families, families turning on each other, turning on their own children, saying how evil they are, reporting their husbands, reporting their wives, prevalent pimping of children. For, we got to have the money. I've been very fortunate, and I cry. I'm mad. I'm more sad. Because this is all a result of 44 four-star generals. You know that, right? You know that. And not just 44 four-star generals. Because a lot of them retire. They've already retired. They've already done their damage. They've already taken their other jobs that were promised to them, because once the promise of the stars end, they get promises of other things after retirement. All those lucrative, what Senator Graham wants to do. Let's go into Mexico. Mitt Romney's like, yeah, and how dare Americans come into the Capitol and stand on our desk. And I'm like, whoopee-doo. We'll give you some pledge and a rag. And do you know how to dust? Do you know how to dust? They destroy lives and lives and lives. And then they call insurrection. Hundreds of thousands of people, unarmed, walking around the Capitol. I can't wait till more of this comes out. I really can't. Singing patriotic songs, saying a prayer. Thank you to the Capitol Police. God bless the Capitol Police. You're an insurrection. Shoot them. Are you kidding me? When we have 44 four-star generals grooming our sons and daughters into sex cults, into cocaine use, into mental health issues, into wars that they get blown up in. What? We are so upside down. So upside down. And I don't know what I can say. I'm just me. And I just have to call this out, because I don't want other parents to have to right now, our military is hijacked. The 44 four-star generals are holding them hostage into insanity and service to foreign and domestic enemies of this country. And how much do I have to show? How much do I have to repeat? And I'll keep repeating. Because I hope you're sharing. I hope you're sharing everywhere. Because when I hear that my son stood up against child sex trafficking and child porn production, I'm like, where is the rally around him? Where is the rally of Mitt Romney? Where is the rally of Ted Cruz? Where is the rally of William Timmons? Where is the rally of the Senator Graham? Right? Where is it? Where is the rally of our representatives and our senators? Where is the rally of the media? Where are they? No, I get a media person, from KTEP. I can't even remember her name. Korach, I don't know. I can't remember her name. Going, did he help you? Did he help you? And I'm like, yeah. Judge Rodriguez put in a complaint about Richard's file being leaked. You know about that. That's public knowledge. He called me up in February 2021, 2022, and let me know that this was going on. I have been talking about it almost daily. Daily. I mean, I've been on daily, but I've been talking about that leak. That was such a big help. Don't you want to hear about my son's case? Don't you want to hear about the child sex trafficking? I thought you wanted to hear about the border problems. Don't you want to hear about our military uniforms with 4 stars being hijacked with demons in it, serving foreign and domestic enemies, allowing child sex pornography to be produced, sold, and broadcasted and airdropped? Bricks of cocaine in my barracks room. Stacking them up. I'll use it as a nightstand. I get more in. I just stand it, put my coffee on it. Oh, you want some? Look. Right? My goodness. We haven't even gotten low yet. We're at the wicket gate. We have such a big burden on our back. And we're like, help us. Oh, I made it here. And it's like, do I lose my burden yet? No. You got to wait on the grace of God until, oh, man. We need the grace of God. Until we realize we need the grace of God, the law of God, the love of God, the patience of God, the virtues of God. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost, the Spirit of God, the redemption of God, the creative force, the air we breathe, God. That's when we lose the burden and put on the full armor of God. Full armor. And then the battle with Apollyon happens, right? Because these sex cultists, they're in the power. You know Vanity Fair? Beelzebub runs Vanity Fair. And Apollyon runs the darkest deep. If you haven't read Pilgrim's Progress, I would suggest you do it. Because it's a great analogy of what we're going through right now. "20,000 children unaccounted for," so he says. And Richard wasn't okay with that. Richard wasn't okay with child rape. He wasn't okay with pornography. Belen, I know you don't have to listen to me, but don't do it. Don't do it. They say they support you. They say they support you, but they don't. They think of you bad. And the guys, they don't support you. They just want to see you naked. Don't do it. Does that sound like a person that's supporting porn? No. I'm so proud of my son. I'm so proud. And you know, when the character in Pilgrim's Progress, his name is Christian, he's on the path. He's lost his burden. He's gotten the Palace Beautiful, gives him his full armor of God. And he meets up with another pilgrim named Faithful. And they walk the path together, and to make a long story short, they end up having to go through Vanity Fair together. And Vanity Fair is whores and blow, porn, child sex trafficking, child porn, frat parties every day, rapes, illegal drugs, mental health, issues with mental health, drugs because of the severe violence done to people's hearts and minds and souls, where suicides happen, games are played, practical jokes that injure, adultery, murder, racketeering, extortion, and every kind of nonsense. And if you don't participate, they don't like you. And Christian and Faithful, they didn't participate, and they had to go in front of the judge. What is the complaint against these two men? They didn't want to play. They didn't want to participate. They didn't want to rape. They didn't want to traffic those children. They didn't want to go on mental health medication. They didn't want to commit suicide. What's the verdict? Death. If you don't participate, death. Faithful goes first. To make a long story short, Faithful was stoned to death, and Christian, with the help of someone that came out of their hypnosis at Vanity Fair, helped him to escape his death the next day. He escaped. They escaped together. And I hope I got the names right. But that's how this story is going. And I'm hoping for that person that wakes up out of their hypnosis and gets courage and helps Team Find Richard Halliday find Richard. Because it's not okay what our 44 four-star generals have done to the world. Because they like the contracts, because they like the shiny star. They like that uniform. They like their staffs. They like their drivers. They like it. They like it. And I don't blame them. They like people respecting them and praying for them and giving them everything. What do you need, sir? What do you need, ma'am? What do you need to defend the Constitution? What do you need? Can I bake you some cookies? Can I take you to dinner? You want me to dress up as a clown and make some of these soldiers happy? Entertain some of the children? They like all that fancy Vanity Fair. The Vanity Fair. And I remember the meeting, and I couldn't stomach him, y'all. I couldn't stomach him. I went to too many. Not a lot, but too many. And I won't ever forget Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe looking at me and saying, "A soldier died of it." Wow. He didn't say it that mean. He said it nicer, to be honest with you. But his eyes were like that. He was not happy with me that I didn't want to lockstep. I did more than what I wanted to with that shield. I did more than what I wanted to because I wanted to find my son. We have soldiers dying, and he insulted me with that nonsense. Insanity. Evil. Absolute evil. Trying to make me think that he cares about our soldiers. Because let me tell you, if they really cared, we wouldn't have a defector talking about the bricks of cocaine. We wouldn't have the multitudes of, oh my gosh, we have piles of evidence, screenshots, everything. We wouldn't have 20,000 unaccounted for children. We wouldn't have the porn doggy cult that rears puppies. We would have clean water, clean air, clean food, clean livestock. No Cobra strikes. No Cobra strikes. They are just the worst type of criminal. The worst. I'm so proud of Richard. He entered the Vanity Fair and he didn't participate, but he didn't walk out. Alive anyway. And we need to find him. I want the remains of my son. And I want to know if the FBI are hiding the remains of my son. Shh. I want to know. Okay, everyone. I'll take your questions now. Thirteen comments. They don't show me all the comments, y'all. I don't know why. Marilyn, thank you so much. God bless you. Danielle, in my heart, I feel the unit and OnlyFans girl know where Richard Halliday is, in my opinion. Her being the last person to talk to Richard multiple times that day he vanished, cell phone tower dumps, Google Maps, messages would tell all, in my opinion. 100%, Danielle. 100%. But they knew everything before we even got there. Did she set Richard up? Did she lure him along with other individuals that may be related to the videos? Lots of questions they need to answer. Yeah, I don't know, but that has crossed my mind. And now with these new, the CID number and the FBI number, they are absolute evidence of the leak. Then we also got new evidence, new information. And it seems to be a gang, okay? It seems to be some kind of gang, a cult. Is it a sex cult that does this, the child sex porn? You got the doggy cult, then you got the child sex porn cult, then you got the bricks of cocaine cult, then you have the, my goodness. 44 four-star generals can't make this better? Baloney. Baloney. They could click heels together and make a beautiful army, a beautiful military, a beautiful, disciplined. But I wonder what are and this is the thing, when we got the videos, we didn't get the videos. When we got information that Richard had those porn videos and turned them in, we were called and said, oh, well, I called Belen and those videos are nothing. They're nothing. And I'm like, you called Belen? She said that to you? Well, did you ask her? What in the world did she say to Richard? The multitudes of times that she contacted him the night that he disappeared? I mean, my goodness. I have so many questions on that one. As a mother of two, my heart goes out. Jerry, thank you. To you. A mother that is trying to find out where her son is. Yeah, that's exactly how this started. And I want to say something too. I am absolutely petrified that other families have to go through this. How many more families have to go through this? If that this is like, okay, we need to find our son, and we need to warn people that our military, we're left defenseless. That's why DC is a mess, because they have to go find some other sugar daddy. They don't have any defense. They don't have a defense to back them up. They have to find someone to back them up. And of course, and then they go to CEOs and whatever, and then we have these monopolies. They go by different names, but then you do your research and they all belong to the same person. It's so much has come out of this. Talk about, and I'm sure I'm still hypnotized in some areas. But we see foggy, and as we grow in faith, as we grow in the knowledge, then we see clearer and clearer. And definitely we need to get our military back. Because how many more they're hostages. That's what I woke up a couple mornings ago and I thought, okay, if back then, because you think about this whole story, this whole history, when I'm marching on the streets and the media's coming up and saying, what do you think happened? And I'm like, well, I'm hoping my my son, for the first time as a mother, I hope my son is a jerk, that he's alive somewhere, because I'm going to hug him hard. Hug him hard. And now I think, no, I wouldn't call him a jerk at all. No, what is he? What should I have said? What should I have said? I should have said, he's a released hostage. He's an escaped hostage. He was being held hostage in the city of Vanity Fair. Because it's not the U.S. Army. It's not the United States military. It's something different. They're not defending the Constitution. They're not defending our leadership. No. We have Milley even admitting to it, that he kept information away from President Trump. We have him admitting to it. We have Lieutenant General Donna Martin contacting us the day before January 6th when she knew we were going up there, because we notified everybody that we were going up there. And she contacted us and said, don't go. Don't go. They knew. Where was their defense of hundreds of thousands of American patriots? Because at the end of the day, that's what was there on January 6, 2021. Not domestic terrorists. And that's so insulting too, to be called a domestic terrorist. My husband served 30 years. 30 years. No, he's not a domestic terrorist. I'm not a domestic terrorist, because let me tell you, I made a lot of cookies. I made a lot of packages, care packages. I always supported the United States Army. I was proud to do it. Honored to do it. I love our service members. But they're being held hostage right now. Praying for you and the rest of the families that have a missing loved one that is in the Army. I pray that someone will step up and start taking over to help stop all of this that is going on. 100%. 100%. Thank you so much, Jerry. I am proud of your son, Richard. Yeah. He's my hero, too. Whew. Yesterday, that homeschool, let me show you that. That really got to me. That's why I had to do some painting. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand, in the power of thy hand to do it. Proverbs 32. Yeah. When I saw that yesterday, that was one of the little projects we did for Valentine's. I was like, oh man. Yeah. Thank your husband for his service. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know I have more. It's not showing all my chats, my comments, so I'm sorry if I didn't read it. Okay. Thank you, everybody, so much. Share and, find that courage. It's a risk. It's a risk today. I think it's always been a risk. So, thank you, everyone. God bless you. And I will see you tomorrow, God willing. Okay.